So this is Emmet, and I'm here to talk to you about my experience with Lifetime Physique Optimization and working with Vince. Though I usually call him Paul, so if I call him Paul, don't get mad at me. So I think that my biggest problems were not actually coming directly from my body and my physique. I think it was I was getting out of grad school. I was building some really bad habits that I could tell were going to stick if I didn't do something to change it. And those habits were having real effects on me doing the things not related to my body, like related to my mind that I want to do in life. Like I was so unfocused all the time because I had terrible sleep etiquette. I went to bed and woke up at completely random times, did not have a good circadian rhythm. And when I did that, I would be out of focus for so much that it would take me so long to do the things that I want to do, that to accomplish the goals that I want to do, just my work in general. And that would mean I don't have much time to cook. I would be eating Taco Bell all the time. And the extent that I did go to the gym was when things kind of quieted down, when I didn't have that stress in my life, I would say, okay, now's the time. And I'd hit the gym for maybe a month, maybe doing 2 to 3 times a week, maybe. And then I would either plateau out to a point where I felt discouraged and or life would start back up again. And I would never hit leg day. uh, so all of that together meant that nothing bad was happening in the moment, but I was so far from touching my toes. I couldn't even sit up against a wall. That 90-degree angles and having my feet out was too much for me. So like I had a certain level of stiffness. My girlfriend was noticing that I was starting to walk with like a limp. And that with all of the other bad habits that I was creating, I knew that it was only a matter of time. I was probably gaining like 5 pounds a year, nothing crazy. But if I kept going in the way that I did, then I could have something like an injury happen. And when that happens, like that's a positive feedback loop that's really hard to get out of. Getting that chronic pain just puts you in a place where you can't enjoy life anymore. And I never wanted that to happen. And so I thought, okay, I'm getting out of grad school. I'm going into kind of an uncertain time in my life. Let's have this give me structure and hopefully rebuild those habits so I am reaching those goals. It did feel like there was like this looming threat on the horizon all the time. And that every single year I was becoming worse at being focused. I wasn't really happy with myself too much. I think when it comes down to the health stuff, when we're talking about those month and a half long times, I felt like I was trying to do everything all at once. I was saying, I gotta start meal prepping. I gotta buy the best, freshest ingredients, and I gotta get into the gym 3 times a week, and yada yada yada. And LPO, it is like it's very you track where you are, you find out what's the most important thing that you need to work on. It's always sleep. It's always sleep. Um, do that thing first, then go on to the next thing, then go on to the next thing. I think when you realize that you're not living the life you want to fix it all at once. And I think that Paul's program, Vince's program, really works because it's eating one thing at a time, one thing at a time, and then constantly monitoring how are you dealing with this change? Because that's another thing. When I had those month and a half periods of getting my health back in check, those were something that were separate from my life. Like I had my life, and then life gave me a little bit of a break so I could add this in. And then life came back, and I had to take that out. When this, because you constantly monitor your stress, you constantly monitor how does this feel implementing these things in your life? How does it feel having 4 days at the gym a week? Is that not good? Okay, let's bring it down to 3. Did you like 4 more? Let's go back to 4. Are you really not liking putting in an hour and a half gym session into your week? He doesn't usually put you on an hour and a half gym session, but break it down to 45. So I think that was the big difference, is that this was not something that was outside of my life. It was directly integrated with my life, and that there were long-term goals that made sure that I wasn't getting off. It was a full 6 months and it's still going. Sometimes I fall off the wagon with sleep, but that's the thing is it's usually not about staying on the wagon. It's about how quickly you can get back on the wagon when you realize you're messing up. Do you remember the moment that you knew the LPO systems were going to work? There wasn't like exactly any one moment, but the thing that the moments all had in common was when you saw the joy and you saw the pleasantness of the routines in your life. So that one workout that you always dreaded happening because you had this little tweak in your shoulder or something. There was something about a workout that felt awkward, and then you just do that workout that one time and you're like, this is connecting. Then it seems like, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can do this forever. The first time I had like my new yogurt and berries breakfast, and I said, this is delicious. And I could eat this every single day, and it is amazing for me. And so finally, like getting excited about going to the gym because you have these goals that you wouldn't have had before. My goals before LPO were I got to go to the gym 3 times a week. That's not a good goal compared to I want to bench this much. I want to do a muscle up for the first time. And making these kind of arbitrary goals that I don't like personally, I'm not a big gym guy. I don't think that this will be a defining part of my personality. I don't think I'm doing any bodybuilding shows. I don't think I'm doing any powerlifting shows like some of my friends who have gone through this program are doing. But I am finding like joy and accomplishment and the things that I'm doing. And so again, this feels like something that I can integrate with my life. It can integrate with my personality. I think that's moments where that was clicking. That's when I knew that this was going to work. But my problems, and I think most people's problems, they never completely resolve. They're always something that you have to be a little diligent about to make sure that you're maintaining. But realizing that I can put these systems into my life and that if I'm off the wagon, I can get right back on, it's amazing. And now feels like the trajectory of my life, instead of slowly careening towards a place where I can see chronic pain in the future and I can see like not being as sharp as I used to be, not being as motivated as I used to be. Now I see my life going into a trajectory where I'm getting stronger. I almost feel like I'm reverse aging a bit because I can do things that now that I couldn't do 5 years earlier. So that feels amazing. It feels very hopeful about the future. You might think you don't have time for it. You don't have time not to do it. That like at the end of the day, going to the gym does take some time, and getting adequate sleep also is going to eat out of your day. If you sleep 8 hours instead of 5 or 4 hours, you're going to have a lot less day. But the hours that you get from having a healthy body and a healthy mind are just so much more valuable. And you can get a lot more done and you feel a lot happier than if you are grinding. So if you work with Paul, I feel like Vince, I feel like the first month is, it's a learning curve. First trip in the gym definitely took me some time to learn all these exercises that I had never done before, but it pays out dividends. And so you're too busy not to do it. You're not too busy to do it. I would say if you feel like you're in a bad place in your life or that not bad place, but you have some issues in your life, take it one step at a time. If you do it all at once, you're going to burn out and it's not going to work. And that seems kind of obvious, but it comes to like, there was a point in time where I was going to bed at 3 a.m. every night. And so I was talking to Paul. I'm like, I'm really in a bad spot. I think I just need to like say, Emmet, go to bed at 11. And he's like, no, you need to go to bed at 2:45. And then you need to go to bed at 2:30. Then you need to go at 2:15. And you need to just slowly walk this back because it's going to feel like too much of a change. It's going to feel like you lost an entire day and you're going to fall right back off. And, you know, I've gotten on sleep and I've fallen back off of sleep, but knowing that that's the way I need to fix my sleep schedule every single time I fall off is really important. So one step at a time. And my final piece of advice would be make better goals, uh, and make those goals kind of things that you enjoy doing. So, things like instead of saying, I'm not, stop eating dessert, say, eat beautiful yogurt and berries dessert every single night. Give yourself something that you like rather than deprive something that you don't. And to make better goals, meaning like, it's kind of cliche, but make those SMART goals, the type of ones where you have a specific goal that can be done in a certain amount of time and that you can kind of brag about it. Actually, I'm gonna say that too. Brag brag a little bit. Look at Yeah, check yourself out in the mirror. Like if you're not willing to kind of give yourself the dopamine hit of looking better and performing better and going to the gym more, it's not gonna stick that much. So I never cared to do a muscle up. I still can't do it yet. Or maybe I can. I don't know. I haven't checked in a little while. And it's still not that important to me, but it's really important to be healthy. And having that little thing as a way of getting to healthy that is not just, I want to be healthier. I think that's really important. And that's something that Paul goes over a lot. Instead of saying, I want to eat better, setting calorie amounts, setting the amount of vegetables that you want in a day, getting kind of granular with it. Uh, but also don't make perfect the enemy of the good. I think that's the number one thing that you'll find with Paul is he does not make perfect the enemy of the good. There are so many times that I say, Vince, I'm getting into the gym and I'm so busy and I only get like two of the different workouts that you assigned for me done. And he said to me, okay, I understand. Sometimes we get into the gym and then we get a call saying you need to be out in 20 minutes. I like some life hits you. And he's taught me exactly how to cheat on my workout in the best way so that I hit all my goals and I get a well-rounded workout. Find not the best program for you, but the least bad way to live your life. And that's it. Go work with Paul. He's great. Paul/Vince. I can't get it straight.